Communism doesn't usually fail overnight. It fails one bridge, one hospital, one apartment building, and one broken promise at a time. This week, at the forefront of failed communism, the people of Venezuela are paying the price. A devastating earthquake has claimed thousands of lives. Like many others, I know the truth. Decades of economic decline, neglected infrastructure, and government mismanagement dramatically increased the human cost. And yet, they want you to believe that they can successfully do it here in America. Before we dive deeper, a quick shout out to all of you, longtime listeners and the new folks who've just joined me. Your support keeps this whole thing moving. If what you hear strikes a chord with you, post a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe on whatever platform you're on. And if something crosses your radar that the slopstream media is ignoring, as they tend to do, you can always send it my way at drdavesavesamerica.com. I read everything that you send in. The double earthquake in late June in key parts of Venezuela is a lesson in the failure of socialism. The latest official death toll exceeds 4,100 people, with about 17,000 injured, and thousands are still listed as missing. The recovery effort will take years, if not a decade or more. This is due to their nearly destroyed infrastructure after about 25 years of socialist rule. Promising everything to everybody if you give the dictators power is not working out for what was once the most successful country in South America. Part of the problem is shoddy construction standards. Reports are that many of the worst housing collapses occurred in large government-built developments during the decades of socialist control. I did a little research on this. One background is of the Chavez Public Housing Construction Initiative, and they may have built as many as 5.5 million units. The poor construction standards are now on view for the world. This was an effort to build things cheaply as the economy went down the dumpster. I want to emphasize this point as Kami Mendami often talks about public housing initiatives. Running the private sector out of the housing market with genius moves like the 2-year rent freeze just announced in New York City sounds like being on that same failed track. I predict the same level of failure, of course. The saying is history is meant to teach lessons to those in the present day about what not to do, but yet here we are. It does not matter how many names the Democrats try to assign to this whack idea. Democratic socialism, it's all communism, the number one killer of humans on the planet. Of course, not making the investment in quake-resistant buildings despite sitting on a known fault line was clearly foolish. Naturally, it costs more to build things right. Socialists and commie governments often build things cheaply to pretend to be doing things to scam the public, and then when an emergency hits, it's too late. China, the paper tiger, often pays influencers to brag about how fast they can build bridges and tunnels, but yet when the bridges literally fall over and tunnels flood, they covered the tunnels with bodies of victims still left inside so as to not soil the reputation of communism. It does not make it in the slopstream press either. Just look at that. Fancy lights and big buildings. Sadly, while this could happen in parts of the U.S. today, now controlled by the whack left, this sad situation dominates the entire country of Venezuela. The results, which we see in Cuba and other communist countries, is that the money runs out. Then, to save money, in order to continue to pretend that they are not broke, they cut corners on public support services. Many uneducated people even believe Bernie Sanders. He falsely brags about the great health care of Canada. Meanwhile, wealthy Canadians come to the USA for real health care that they're able to pay for, so they do not wait in line for the socialized medicine clinics. It's been covered many times, but yet people always want to bury their head in the sand when it comes to the truths of communism. This is not visible to the general public until a disaster like this hits. Then we see videos of people trying to dig out the survivors with their bare hands. Of course, the country is still suffering from the damaging policies of Maduro and his loser predecessors. They actually fought against non-governmental organizations which could be assisting the citizens at this time. Fortunately, the current government, under the supervision of the U.S., is allowing foreign aid to come into this country like the Red Cross. The latest estimate of the damage is $37 billion. I predict that may go higher. Opening up the country's economy and restoring its oil industry could provide much-needed internal funds for the huge recovery effort ahead. On behalf of caring Americans, I extend my utmost sympathies to the injured and the families of so many needlessly lost lives. America and the world has extended help to Venezuela, and it is very much needed. Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep asking questions. This is Dr. David D. Schein. Thanks for watching this special episode of Saving America. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite platform. See you next time.